haven't heard many policy speeches from her yet. We haven't had the big set piece that she's going to give, and we need to know whether she's got both the substance and the style and the personality and all the charisma. She's been a quite low-key vice president, so she hasn't really come across at all. People say she was unpopular. I don't think it was so much she was unpopular. She's just not very well known, and we haven't really seen much of her. Now I think she's on a bit of a roll, and so we hope that there will be some charisma coming out. Of course, the speech, the policy bit, has all been very carefully written, not just by her, but by all her advisors, to make it look as though she really does have the policies and the wisdom and all the things we need.
Much of that document we're also going to hear tonight, by the way, from Kamala Harris's husband, the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff. He's going to introduce himself to the USA. Is this a USA thing that we're sort of heavily invested in the, VP, presidential nominee's spouse, as much as we're invested in the actual person themselves, Michael?
No, I don't think so, but it's unusual. Well, it's never happened before in America. I mean, we've had the marvellous Dennis Thatcher as spouse of the Prime Minister for 11 years, and we all got used to him and enjoyed that very much. The Americans haven't had the first or second gentleman, is he called? Yes, second gentleman. We haven't had that, and it's an odd title, but I think just speculation about what role he might play and where he will stand and, how he will contribute to policy making, if at all. So I can see there's going to be a lot of speculation. But frankly, what matters is what she thinks and what she's going to do, because she's the one who's got to win or lose the election.
Okay. Tessa, let's talk about former President Barack Obama, who speaks tonight. And look, he was thought to be one of those on manoeuvres to, gently persuade. I use gently, cheekily, Joe Biden to step aside in favour of Kamala Harris, really to rescue the Democrats' campaign for president entirely. So it'll be interesting to hear what he's going to say about Kamala Harris. We were talking earlier in the show to Joel Rubin about how there are plenty of words being used to describe her. Obama earlier this month said on X that she's got the vision, the character, and the strength that this critical moment demands. I've heard words like trustworthy, she's a tough cookie. All of those accolades are great, but maybe they're a bit kind of attributed to women. I don't know whether I'm overthinking this, but when Biden went up for president, we heard, that he was charisma. He had charisma. He was a strong negotiator. He was a presence on the world stage. He was a kind of soft power, strong and forceful. And I don't know, maybe I am overthinking it, but we've heard lots of, pleasantries and, very good personality, character attributes of Kamala Harris. We've not heard much substance elsewhere.
Well, he did once gaffe horribly. I don't know if you recall when he was bigging her up as Attorney General. I think it was as far back as about 2012. I can't remember the exact year, when he said, after a long list of great compliments about her achievements and her determination, he then said, as a sort of glib throwaway at the end, and she is America's by far the best looking Attorney General in America, words to that effect.
Yeah.
And actually he had to apologise. He rang her up and apologised for it.
What do we want to achieve as Brits over here looking in earnest at what's going on in the United States at the moment? What do we want to see from the DNC during this period of time? It will probably give Kamala Harris another bump in the polls. Are you worried, Michael, that she might not be able to sort of hang on to this crest of a wave?
Well, there's always the worry. We haven't heard many policy speeches from her yet. We haven't had the big set piece that she's going to give, and we need to know whether she's got both the substance and the style and the personality and all the charisma. She's been a quite low-key vice president, so she hasn't really come across at all. People say she was unpopular. I don't think it was so much she was unpopular. She's just not very well known, and we haven't really seen much of her. Now I think she's on a bit of a roll, and so we hope that there will be some charisma coming out. Of course, the speech, the policy bit, has all been very carefully written, not just by her, but by all her advisors, to make it look as though she really does have the policies and the wisdom and all the things we need.
Much of that document, the 93-page platform document that we got on Sunday was apparently written with Joe Biden still the nominee. So I don't know how much has been adjusted or tailored to her at all. Does it matter to Americans at this stage? I don't want to condescend anyone and say that policy doesn't matter to Americans so much, because it is a personality contest, between two people, between the red and the blue. Because Kamala Harris, because of what she stands for, because she's come in dramatically, entered the contest dramatically, Tessa. She's the first woman of colour to lead a major party presidential ticket. Does the policy stuff matter?
It's interesting. Did we judge Biden on his policies? In some ways, he's left a storming legacy, extraordinary investment and infrastructure projects that will last well into the future for America. He's been less fortunate in Gaza. I thought it was interesting the way he stridently came out saying there's got to be a surge of food into Gaza and you've got to end this war. And really, this was a guy, I felt, speaking into the wind. He's kind of lost control of his main ally in the Middle East. I think that the main premise upon which they're going to posit Kamala, and I think you'll see Obama do this tonight, is against Trump. That in fact there's clear blue water there, irrespective of the detail of the policy, is she's not Trump.
Yeah, because this is no longer two old white guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she's fresh, she's crisp, she's actually far more articulate than we were led to believe. And I think that was partly because Biden, who we don't really attribute ego to him because he's never been very good at talking up his achievements. But the truth is, he was clearly rather enjoying kicking back in the White House and he didn't want to give up the gig, thanks very much at all, even though most presumed 4 years ago he was a caretaker president. And I don't think he gave her much room to shine. So really, I think that's all she's got to do is be articulate and on it at this stage.
All right, let's wrap it up there.